Get out of my hand as he comes up.
My custom projects are always a journey. Sometimes they start as an outline and masking tape or permanent marker or chalk on the concrete floor of my shop. And sometimes they start with a vague idea and a simple rough sketch on my CAD software like this one. The following pictures exhibit red oak veneer with some solid red oak inlay for detail and accent. Red oak is economical and beautiful, with colorations ranging from pale gray and white to salmon to deep reds and browns, with alternating lines of open and closed grain patterns. Most of the lumber and sheet goods I use in my pieces are LEED certified, and I make it a point to try and use green and sustainably harvested materials where possible. The pieces you see here were chosen, the pieces in the pattern were chosen based on grain pattern and the kinds of illusions or effects that I could draw out by their different orientations, as well as integrating with the whole design. The colors offer contrast to help make the design pop and stand out. The idea involved in this particular piece centers around the concept of mediation. I wanted to take three opposing pieces with their own forces and bring them together in a cooperative resolution, the sort of give and take of individuals within a whole. So there's a centerpiece that offers stability and rigidity, but it's still very open. And there's a skeletal strength to it that's loose, but it's still interconnected to the other two pieces. And that centerpiece sits between those two other pieces that offer opposing forces. One is pulling up, and the other is pulling down, and their exertions are going to pivot on that centerpiece. Of course, it all sounded great in my head when I first thought of it. I had this high-minded ethereal concept, and I could envision it, but not really put it on paper. But that's when the process really takes over, because building a piece of furniture for me is a very sculptural activity. It's not like assembling a piece from IKEA. There's a spec sheet with number of instructions and exact hardware and analysis. I'll get halfway through doing something and think I can do it better this way, or what if I try this, or maybe I should start this part over or leave this original design aspect out. Or I'll have these incredibly tight radii that I'm trying to figure out how to build. The pieces in the spherical part here are actually made from 20 very thin pieces that are glued, stacked, and then clamped into a form. And then once those pieces are dry, you pull them out of the form, you shape them, smooth them, and then they all go together. And it's all done by hand and eye. But it was really only when I clamped those 4 half rounds that make up that centerpiece that was kind of the realization of this piece. Up to that point, I didn't know if I was going to have to scrap it. I didn't really know if it was a feasible project until I got those 4 pieces together. So those 4 pieces create, when you glue laminate like that, they create a spring back that once that whole orb was together, it has an outward force that wants to push itself apart. But what brings the 3 pieces together is 4 simple strands of stainless steel cable that are embedded in 4 tensioned pieces of oak. They act in harmony, the wood and steel, to push and pull at the same time the top and bottom pieces that pivot on the center sphere. So when you push down on one corner, the whole design transfers the force to the other side, where it's pulling the opposite way, and it's a sort of give and take that creates solidarity within the whole piece. As well, the oak piece is pushing up against the downward force, and each of the top and bottom pieces are trying to push apart from each other due to the glue laminated curvature, much like an archer's bow. In this picture, you can see the flex and the rays and the edge of the oak. That's what they call quarter sawn. And those flex and rays occur naturally in the wood, but they're only visible when you cut the wood along a very specific axis. And in this case, to get quarter sawn, you have to cut along the radius that projects from the heart of the tree. Here you can see the full design of the veneering. And I really tried to lay the grain patterns in such a way that it would complement the curves of the base. And it actually distorts the way the outside edges are perceived, and it creates a rounded effect, even though it's a square top. And in my mind, it really seems like the whole piece is bulging or flexing in a way, and it exhibits the tension that I originally imagined in the initial design. The whole piece is sprayed with several coats of semi-gloss lacquer, and the backlighting here, you can see the sheen. This was probably the toughest project that I've done to date, and if I did it again, there'd probably be a lot of things that I'd change or do differently. But the real lesson here is, when three is a crowd, make sure you have a table for four.